Hey everyone, it's me. I'm here to call you up and do a happy mail video and chat with you for a few minutes, hopefully. This happy mail came sometime last week, maybe even the week before. I forget, but it's from Abigail, and she had contacted Tank for my mailing information, and so I gave it to Tank, and Tank gave it to Abigail, and then Abigail blessed me with this. So she sent this card, and she put, "Dear Miguel, I wanted to bless you today with this blessing bag. My dear friend Tank, Susan from I Love to Crochet, gave me your name and address. Enjoy. Kindly, Abigail." Isn't that nice? And she has wonderful handwriting. Oh, I just remembered. I saved the tape that was on the package. It says Happy Mail. I've never seen that kind of tape before, and I saved it. I wanted to show it when I did this video, and I forgot it at home. Here I am at Tractor Supply. First, let me show you this. She sent me two of these Yanspirations Karen cotton funnel cakes, which I've never worked with before. It's a 4-ply. They're each 8.8 ounces, 250 grams. And that is neat. I'm gonna open one to feel it. Oh, I'll tell you the color. Oh, it's called Dove, or in Spanish, Paloma. Isn't that nice? Two of those, and I'm thinking I could make me something out of this. And she sent two of these Red Heart Roll With It Tweed, 100% acrylic, 5.29 ounces, 150 grams, 296 yards. And the color is Lilac Breeze, and it's really soft. Someone is pulling up right next to me. It's a medium 4. I'm going to tell you why this place is hopping busy. Isn't that nice? And she sent 2. So thank you, Abigail, and thank you, Tank. I appreciate it. And thank you for the nice card. I got out my bulletin board that I bought, I guess, last year, maybe even the year before, to put up cards that people send. So I'll be putting this up on it. Thank you. So yeah, I'm here at Tractor Supply because this morning they got in a bunch of baby peeps. And I called down here earlier just to see what breeds they had. I really want a leghorn again. I miss my leghorn. I had a beautiful white leghorn named Lucy when I first started my flock, and she used to love to sit on my lap and be petted. And she was the first one to pass away. And I would love to have another leghorn, but when I called and asked what breeds they have, they didn't have any leghorns. They didn't have Buff Orpington or Rhode Island Red. She named, I think, 4 different breeds, and the only 2 I can remember is Speckles, which I looked up, and they're beautiful, and they lay brown eggs and speckled eggs, so that would be interesting. And then the other one that I can remember she told me is it's a long name, but it's a chicken that has blue feathers, and it lays bluish eggs. And so anyway, I came here and I went in and I looked. I didn't buy any. I was just window shopping. I like looking at them. And it would be pretty to have a couple blue feathered chickens. That would be different. So that's why I'm down here, because I went in there, and I was going to take you in there with me, but there's so many people. They're buying, of course, they're buying chicks. Oh, and they had some ducks. And, but there's a lot of people buying stuff for gardening. They're buying mulch and stuff like that, which really down here, you garden all year long. In January, you start with your onions and your potatoes, but it's a beautiful day. It's probably 80 degrees. I don't know. So let me tell you, last evening, about 40 minutes before my chickens were going in to roost, I was outside with them and outside with Sadie and Monster. And my little rooster and then the big rooster, not Big Daddy, but the other one, they started fighting. It was not pretty. All the feathers around their neck, both of them, got really puffed up, and they were going at each other and jumping up in the air, and the little rooster would jump on top of that big one, and there was feathers flying, and I had to get in the middle of them with a stick. And that little one, you know, he's pretty stubborn. He would not quit. And I managed to get the bigger one in the coop, and I locked him up in there. And he was not happy. And then, about 20 minutes later, I let him out, and I thought they would knock it off. And they did for about 2 minutes and started again. So I tried to separate them, and I ended up getting the bigger rooster into my yard, and I stayed in my yard with him. But I was watching over all those others. I wanted to make sure that that little rooster didn't start fighting with Big Daddy or go after my gosling or anything, and he just stayed to himself. He had calmed down. But the bigger rooster that I kept over in my yard, he was pacing back and forth like if he was in jail, and he was mad. He was making all kinds of noises. He wasn't crowing, just complaining that I had him over in my yard. And then when it got to be sunset, they seemed like they forgot all about their fighting, and they all went in and roosted together. So I don't know what started that, but now, you know, I have those 3 other young chickens. I forget now how old they are. But if any of them turn out to be a rooster, they're going someplace right away before, you know, I'm already attached to them because I've been, you know, since they hatched, I've been looking after them. But as soon as I find out what they are, if there's a rooster there, it's going. I had promised someone from church before a rooster, and then I forgot about it, and the lady never mentioned it. Well, she was moving too. And then when she finally moved to where she could have a couple chickens and a rooster, then she let me know, hey, you promised me a rooster. And I remembered I did. And I told her, oh, it's too late now because I'm attached to all my roosters. And I told her I have these 3 young ones, these 3 young chickens. And if one of them turn out to be a rooster, she's more than happy to have it. But I just can't. Oh boy, this guy's backing up and a car's going through the park. You got to be all eyes here. Whether you're pulling in or pulling out or just sitting here talking. Now you can go. Oh, nope. The truck came behind him. So that's what went on there. Now, I'll tell you. Oh, he's going to back up on. So you know, if you've been following, that my doctor's PA ordered all that lab work and then that ultrasound, and I got all the results back. And I guess I mentioned to you that the gallbladder is full of stones, which it has been for a few years. I've mentioned that too. And the doctor wants to refer me to a surgeon, even though like I've said, I never have right abdominal pain. I never do. All my pain and cramping is on the left side. Well, come to find out, she told me that in instances, people that have a full gallbladder of stones, when it flares up, there are people that don't have the right abdominal pain. They have the back pain and the left pain, which is me. So she wants me to at least consult with the surgeon, so I'm waiting for that appointment. I have more appointments already this month, so I'm not looking to get another appointment in. And then the ultrasound, they check the gallbladder, the liver, the kidneys, even up my chest bone to my aorta and whatever other organs. But the ultrasound of the liver showed that I have quite a bit of fatty liver, and some of my liver is inflamed. Now, she let me know about how, the inflammation, it really has to get down. Because if you know anything about fatty liver disease, this is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, also known as NAFLD. When it gets to the stage that the liver is really inflamed, it's called something else, which I forget, and then it can turn to cirrhosis of the liver, and you can contract hepatitis. My fatty liver is not near any of that part, although it does show some inflammation. She told me there's still time to get it down and to even reverse it. And so I've been emailing back and forth with her through my health portal. I've been researching things, of course praying that God would give me wisdom and that God would just heal it. But I do know that if we ask God for wisdom, He does promise to give it to us. And so she did say that, this happens with type 2 diabetics. It also is connected with the spinal cord disease, syringomyelia. She said that studies have shown that there's a connection with NAFLD and people that have syringomyelia. So I listened to her and asked questions, and she asked questions, and then we been corresponding through the email. When it comes right down to it, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Allergies. When it comes right down to it, I'm going to sneeze again. There's a lot of pollen in the air, that white, puffy stuff. Like I was going to say, when it comes right down to it, there's really no point in trying to figure out why I have the non-alcoholic fat liver disease or how I got it, because it's so complicated having these other underlying health issues. One could say, well, you got it because of diabetes. Another could say it's related with the syringomyelia. Someone else could say it's a combination of both. And then also I have a metabolic disorder. So there's no sense in me wasting time or energy trying to figure out, hey, why did I get this? How did I get it? No. The best plan of action for me is to continue to be in contact with the doctor about it, keep researching, finding out what's best for me. There's lots of advice out there, of course, online, and there's Facebook groups of people that have it, and they share different recipes or things that have worked for them, and that's wonderful. But, you really have to know your own body. I believe that God wants us to know our own body as far as how it reacts to things. We all know that what works for one person may not work for another. So we have to really know our bodies and be diligent in figuring things out. I already eat a lot of greens. You know, she sent me a list of things that I can eat that will help. And it's like spinach and cauliflowers, things that I already eat. And then, oh, please don't back up into me. He's in a big truck. And then a list of things, you know, to stay away from, which I don't buy bread. I don't have a sweet tooth. Now, when I was sick a couple weeks ago, I did go buy some rice and I made some white rice. I made very little and I added it to my chicken broth. And 2 weeks before that, when I was sick, my doctor actually told me to do the brat diet because of the vomiting and diarrhea. And so that includes rice. But as a general rule, I don't buy rice. I was going to say don't buy a rooster. I don't buy rice. I don't buy pasta. Once in a while, if I make a homemade Italian soup, I'll get that box of that little pasta that looks like beads, and I may throw in like a handful of that, but it's not something I have all the time. And I haven't for a few years. And it was very hard to give that up because being Italian and being raised up that way, my Italian grandmother and her sister-in-law used to make their own homemade pasta for all of us in the family. So I grew up on that, and I grew up on white rice. So, but I gave that up a few years ago. And I am going to not buy any more zero sugar Powerades or those power drinks that say they have all those electrolytes. Someone from church did bring some this last time that I was sick, and that zero sugar vitamin water. And I believe that it helped me. The doctor had said that week I was so, what she said, overly dehydrated or seriously dehydrated. So I was thankful when someone from church surprised me and came by and brought me those, and I did drink them, but I'm not buying any more. And I already drink a lot of water, and I'm adding more water and fresh lemon, which I have often, and my herbal teas. And I drink coffee, but I don't put any sugar in it. I was buying the sugar-free liquid creamer, but I haven't been. I've been drinking my coffee black, which I grew up on black coffee too, so that don't bother me. And what else? Well, I guess that's it about that, because there's not a whole lot of bad food that I don't eat. I love fish, and that's good for you. Like I say, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm not one to be buying candy and cupcakes and things like that. So we'll just see what happens, but she did say that this could be a big reason why I have been so sluggish and I have felt so exhausted, mostly since October. And I have mentioned that a few times in videos, and my primary doctor would say that it's the chronic fatigue flaring up, but she never did thorough blood work. So I'm glad that this that her PA did. And this place is so busy, but I don't see people coming out with little boxes of chicks. I see them coming out with a lot of gardening things and animal food in bulk. I see them coming out. I can put this down again. Oh, I did go, after I went grocery shopping this morning, I went out to the lake, 19 minutes, out to the dam, and I started to call you up and do a video to show you just how sadly low that lake is. And I was walking and talking to you, and then I stepped in fire ants. So I had to deal with that. And so I ended the video, and it wasn't really long enough to put up, so I'll try another day. Those fire ants, boy. I didn't get a whole lot on my foot, but I got enough to let me know that I had stepped in them. And what else can I tell you? I think this covers just about everything. I posted a picture of the gosling. Its eye is really healing up, and it still gets so excited, when I am leaving or when I come home, especially. He gets so excited, or she. I'm going to have to buy a little pool. I saw them at the Dollar General, and I asked the guy, they didn't have a price on them. I said, how much are those? And they were 12 something, and I told them, up the street at Walmart, they're 7 something, same size. And that's probably where I'll get it from, because it doesn't have to be big, medium. A small one will be just fine. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of my chickens end up in it, like Lady Jane or the other Barred Rock one. They love hanging out with that gosling, those 2 chickens. Seems like they've really bonded, those 2 Barred Rocks and that gosling. I'm just so thankful that its eye has healed up. My landlord came a few days ago and was looking at it and wondered if he has eye or she has eyesight out of that eye. Can't really tell, but it gets along, fine walking. It doesn't walk into things. It sure does love to eat grass. On the land there, the land just got mowed, but there's some parts like up against the fence line and behind my trailer especially, where there's tall grass, and I've been going out there and pulling bunches of it and putting it down in the yard, and that gosling goes right after it. I'm gonna have to call my friends that come and weed eat for me, but the thing is, I don't need my whole yard weed eated. I just need behind the trailer where my septic line is. That grass is getting tall, and that is a wonderful spot for a snake to be. So we'll see about that. I barter with them. I give them fresh eggs when they can come out. They have a little, I guess you could call it landscaping company. They don't really do landscaping. They do mostly mowing. I think they did try to do some landscaping, and it didn't work out. So they do mostly mowing, but they just live down the road from me, and I just ask them when they have time, can they come, since I'm not a paying client. I've tried to pay them, and they never want any money. They just ask me, do you have any cold water? So I would give them bottles of cold water, and then I said, I'm going to give you eggs. And they love that. So I'll be having to call them and see when they have a free moment. Right now it's very busy. Mowing and landscaping business is very busy right now here. And see if they can't weed eat behind that trailer. See, this lady bought 2 big bags of food, but no baby peeps. Wish I could remember the name of that breed that has the blue feathers, but it's a long name. It begins with an A. I know that. Well, 23 minutes. I think this cuts off at 24. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks again, Abigail. I really appreciate it, and I plan to make me something out of that, at least out of that cotton. I don't know who that was. They waved at me, so I waved back. They're carrying a horse. I don't know anyone with a horse except my neighbors across the road, and that wasn't them. Okay, everyone. Thanks again, everybody, for your support, and I will talk to you later.